Good evening. We've just returned from executive session, so we've done the call to order and pledge of allegiance. And now I'm going to ask you to stand for a moment of silence. We lost some neighbors this week, and I just want to mention their names, or we do as a board, just to recognize their lives. We lost David Texteria, John Durkee, who was a teacher for the elementary school, Brian McCormick, Dyson Nova Miranda, and Mark Sherman. Thank you. Mr. Rooney, you're up first. How does that always happen?
I got a good connection.
Is that what it is?
Town Hall office. I'm very, very appreciative of that. Nice. How's everybody tonight?
Good, how are you?
So this is a follow-up to our request that we tabled last time.
Yes, sir.
About the voting rights to the people that you wanted to appoint.
Right.
Okay.
So, per your request, I did reach out to the MSBA. We do have a liaison who is, she's very helpful, but I wanted to, I understood the concern. I heard the concern from you that night. So I wanted to talk to somebody who's really been through the wars of the MSBA for an extended period of time. So I reached out to Diane Sullivan. She's the director of program development. She's been with the MSBA for almost 20 years. And I worked with her on the Attleboro project. And she said that by all means, that if the selectmen decide to expand the committee, that you can designate who you want to be voting members and who would not be voting members. She did say that, someone who is a central office administrator, like the assistant superintendent, in many districts or in many situations, that person, because they have such an intimate knowledge of the curriculum and the growth of the district from the standpoint of the educational development, they tend to be voting members, but that's completely your decision. The others who would be more in the teacher realm, someone representing special ed, someone representing fine and visual arts, someone representing the core academic curriculum, certainly do not have to be voting members. Okay. If we do subcommittee work, I would like for your consideration that if we are, talking about the best way to approach, occupational therapy or physical therapy, if we have smaller subcommittees, I would like to at least reward their time, effort, and energy by allowing them to vote in that particular environment, but they would not be voting on anything that would change the complexion of what would be presented to the town as the options.
Okay. I think we can come to an agreement this evening because I think we address both concerns. You get to expand your group. Not get to, probably inappropriate, but the group expands and you have qualified people for your subcommittees that can offer the advice, and it also addresses our concern of having too much administration and not enough public residents representation.
Absolutely.
Nicole, do you have any concerns?
No.
Mark?
No, I would like to see the assistant superintendent be a voting member and the other three listed to be non-voting.
Okay.
The board feels about that.
That's not an issue with me.
Want to make that into a motion?
Okay. I'll make a motion for the school building committee to expand their committee and for the assistant superintendent to be a voting member, special education coordinator, academic curriculum coordinator, and arts music coordinator to be non-voting members.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, sir, you're up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
All right.
for taking that extra step and reaching
Absolutely.
out to them. And
No, I completely understand your concern and the community's concern.
Sure, thanks.
thank you.
Tom? This is a review, discuss, and act recommendation to appoint Patricia Olson as a member of the Council on Aging.
Good evening.
Hi.
Miss Annabelle Powell's wished to be here, but I believe
Sure.
some family matters that she cannot be here.
Okay.
So, as you all know, we have a candidate for an open position in the Council of Aging.
Yep.
She happened to be at our last board meeting. Our last board had a chance to question her and interrogate her.
Great.
And we learned a lot about her, and she's definitely spent a long time of her life in Dayton, like all of it,
Yeah.
on Main Street. Yes, our board unanimously recommended for her to be in that position. And,
Okay.
I believe you needed to table it to announce the opening, and
Yep.
that's what we're here for tonight.
Okay.
And she also made herself available if you needed to
Sure.
ask her questions
Uh,
also.
I don't have any questions. I know her from here at the town, and I have no issues at all. If you've met as a group and recommend it, that's fine with me. Nicole?
I don't have any questions.
Mark? Okay. Is there a motion on the floor to appoint Patricia Olson, please?
I'll make a motion to appoint Patricia Olson as a member of the Council on Aging.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
This was easy. Tom, you're still up
Yep.
for resignation from Dakota Reardon Bartel.
Yes, Dakota was with us right around 2 years. He's last hiree. He was able, he's going to Taunton like some other employees, but he actually always wanted to be in water quality.
Okay,
So a job opened up.
good.
I think he applied 4 times for that position.
Wow.
So he finally nailed the job in the city of Taunton. And that's where he's going.
Well,
For the water
congratulations to
treatment
him.
plant. And he enjoyed his time with us. And so that creates an opening.
Sure.
So we need to accept his resignation, and
Yeah.
then we have the discussion about the hiring freeze, whether or not we can post that
Okay.
position.
Obviously, we can accept his letter, and that's a few people we've lost to the city of Taunton.
I agree.
You know
And-
something about that, right, Mark?
Never heard of that before.
No.
Never.
As far as the hiring freeze, if we have a position like this that is open, that is a detriment to your business, not business, you're running the operation, I have no issues with replacing him with, I don't know if you have anybody in mind, but posting it. Nicole?
I don't have, I just, what is an equipment operator?
All our employees are hired as equipment operator, class 1.
Oh,
So
I-
they have to have the CDL license with their brakes minimum, and also the hoist engineer's license. They all need the ability to load their own truck during the winter time, so they have the hoist license.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Mark, you were concerned about the hiring freeze. What would you like to do?
I am concerned about the hiring freeze and the budget, but I understand especially everything the highway department does, so I'm more concerned just with it wasn't on the agenda. So I would just like to see it on the next agenda.
Okay,
and,
we can do that.
That gives the public an ability to submit any correspondence to us on the matter. and
Sure.
We can fully, I didn't really anticipate that, so.
Okay. So I think what we're going to do, Tom, is accept the resignation and then table the appointment until the fact that we do have that hiring freeze, but it's in this
Right.
year's budget, if you don't mind.
So don't advertise or nothing until the vote.
It wasn't on the agenda, so.
Right, so you should wait.
It would have
If
to be on the
that's
agenda.
acceptable to you, I mean, if it's,
It's your call.
yep, okay. This is a review, discuss, and act, so if there's a recommendation on the floor, please.
I'll make a motion to accept the letter of resignation from Dakota Reardon Bartel.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Mr. Higgins? Nice to see you again.
Dan Higgins, 400 Lincoln Avenue, representing the Dayton Development and Industrial Commission. And officially, we're here tonight to ask for a name change. That name, one, is kind of a mouthful. People don't actually understand what it means. And it's actually, the committee was founded under a state provision. That's the descriptor of the committee. So we'd like to have the name changed to the Dayton Economic Development Committee, which I think is more reflective of what we're trying to achieve.
Sure, it represents more of, like you said, what you want to achieve in
Exactly.
the group itself.
Yeah. But since we had the opportunity to come here tonight, I also thought we'd just give you a brief update on
Sure.
what we've been working on. So after the committee had become defunct for a couple years, it was restood up about 3 years ago. And initially, we decided we were going to focus very methodically on 3 different things. So the first one was just getting town opinion, buy-in about what they thought the town should be, which we did via a survey. The economic development plan came out of that, so that was done about 2 years ago. The second step was to help reinforce, give support to local businesses, particularly a Shop Local campaign, helping local businesses who are trying to get started, that sort of thing. So there are a couple initiatives we did there. One is working with other committees, for example, the personal property tax exemption, which was brought up at the last town meeting, which we're working with the Board of Assessors, and my understanding is they're going to bring that back again with a better explanation this time to answer some of the questions that people had, targeting 90% home-based businesses, but all small businesses. Also, there's a bylaw change which is under review before the planning board, which they hope to have on the June ballot as well, or town meeting as well, to expand what people are allowed to do as home-based businesses. The town gets actually close to like 18 to 20 new businesses every year that open up. 90% of those are home-based, and a huge percentage of the businesses that are in town now are home-based. So we just want to give some relief to those people who are looking to do that, giving them more options about what they can do, but also do it in a controlled and safe way since they're operating in a residential neighborhood. But there's already been one presentation to the planning board. They just wanted to do a second one, get more public input before it goes on the June ballot. We've also been working on updating the Dayton Business Guide, which was an initiative that the previous town assessor had written. It's a rather large document, very textual. All the information is there. It's a bit hard to navigate, so we're working on trying to find ways to make that more user-friendly. We've also done things like this, which we're going to start distributing around town with the planning board, board of assessors, that sort of thing. Just, little quick guidelines that people can use for what's important, what they need to know if they want to start opening a business in town. And we've run that past the planning board, health department, assessors, town clerk, to get their input as well. Let's see. There's also been a lot of other things that have been going on as well by other committees to achieve the same kind of goal. I mentioned Mike's Mullins authoring of that business guide. I think there's been a lot of effort recently, particularly by Jim Aguirre, to push all the departments into using online permitting, which has been out there for a few years, but not everybody was using it. I think we're finally at that point now, which is a big step forward. Both the planning board and conservation have recently adopted process flow changes to streamline the number of times people have to come before each one of those and how long it takes to get revisions done, that sort of thing. So, kudos to them as well. Even the creation of the PAC meetings, which was done by Mr. Mullen, was something new to try to head off problems where people were getting caught into loops, where they were going from committee to committee in a cycle of never, quite being able to reach the finish line. So those are all things that other groups have done as well. And then the third leg of what we wanted to do, which is what we're going to be focusing on the coming year, is from outbound marketing. So one is we now have a new website. It's www.daytonbusiness.com. It's a redirect website. It just takes you straight to our site on the town page, but it has all the material there, including things like a link to our online town business directory, what our committee's working on, references in town if you're trying to start a business, that sort of thing. We've also going to start working more closely with the Taunton Area Chamber of Commerce in terms of getting looped into events to try to market the town. Also looking out beyond that, towards greater Providence, Boston area.
Sure.
We've had some success actually with even cold calls with companies. We have a company that's interested in starting a large agricultural business here in town. They're still just in the examination phase, but that was just the result of a cold call by one of our members, trying to drum up business. Another little pamphlet that we're doing kind of along those same lines, which is things that we'd like to be distributing at those kind of events, to help put, Dayton on the map in terms of, what we offer here.
That's awesome.
And then part of that last initiative too involves creation of a social media, like short video, which we've managed to do over step by step over a period of a couple years by encumbering funds from one year to the next to get us to the point where we can, afford to do that. We started with some new drone footage of the town, which we'd now like to utilize to put together a short video that we can distribute via digital marketing, put on YouTube, link to emails, that sort of thing. So those are just some of the things that we'd be
Yeah.
working on and planning to work on as well.
That's tremendous. I knew you guys were busy. I didn't realize you had achieved this much, but that's awesome.
And Laura just had, about some of those things I mentioned, we just wanted to make sure that people in town were aware of what
Sure.
opportunities they have, so.
Laura Smith, I'm the agricultural representative on the commission. So we want to make sure that we're establishing relationships with the businesses that are in town and promote shopping local. So the past couple of years, which I've got to meet a couple of you, was at the business networking that we did at the Aggie in conjunction with the Chamber of Commerce. So we also want to continue doing something like that, but at kind of a smaller scale, and to also, instead of spending so much funds, we'll actually utilize this event by sponsoring, getting some sponsors. Also, currently, Dan had mentioned we have a free online local business directory. So when you go to www.daytonbusiness.com, you can see a link there to click onto that. And businesses that have registered with the town clerk, or if they have also, they're on file with the Massachusetts Department of Corporations with a Dayton address, can be listed on that site. So there's 72 different categories that they could be listed under, and they can have multiple categories. So as a farmer that does flowers, or I do produce, I can be listed in different sections. Also, and to get to that, you just have to email ddIC@dayton-ma.gov. Also, free. Yeah, there's more. The media spotlights, which Dan, I think you
Paul?
mentioned it. Yeah, so Paul Reynolds, someone on our commission, has done some business spotlight interviews, which that's a free thing that we have. It's posted on the Dayton's YouTube page as well as Channel 9. Paul has hosted 5 so far. I find them very interesting because there's businesses in town that I didn't even realize were in town. And again, as long as the business has registered with the town clerk and or they're with the Mass Department Corporations with a Dayton address, they can get that. So make sure everybody like and subscribe so that you can stay updated on future business spotlight interviews. And some things that we're planning on doing in the future, using the DDIC's, or I guess we might be changing that title, Facebook page, posting events that are happening with local businesses. So like if somebody's having a grand opening or an open house, or a seasonal business like Arujo's could post on there when they're opening again. We'd also like to do some online listing of available commercial property that's either for sale or for lease in town. We've also started an initiative, there's a lot of town land that's just sitting around doing nothing. So looking at the agricultural perspective, we're gonna look at seeing if there are ways that we can bring in some agricultural business into town by looking at those properties. Maybe it can be for crops, maybe it can be for livestock. Also, Dan's been working on a welcome card, so all the businesses that are registered into the town, we send them a nice welcome.
Great. Well, that's awesome. I can't believe the amount of items that you guys have accomplished. I want to take this name change first. I know you were just giving us an update, and we appreciate that. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, if anyone
Okay.
had any questions.
Sure. This is a name change, which I have no issues with. Nicole, do you?
No.
Mark? Okay. So is there a motion on the floor to change the name, please?
I'll make a motion to change the Dayton Development and Industrial Commission to the Dayton Economic Development Committee.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Great,
Thank
guys.
you.
Well, thank you for
Thank
that.
you. Thank you for
It
the
was very
update.
nice of you.
Everyone's changing their name.
Yeah. I wonder if I can
we
change
be?
mine. Okay, we're on to announcements.
The Highway Department public notice, there is a town-wide parking ban in effect from November 1st, 2024 to April 1st, 2025. No person shall allow any vehicle to remain in the street so as to obstruct snow removal. The Dayton Lions Club Food Bank distribution will be held next on Saturday, February 15th, 2025, and they're located at Town Hall on the lower level. The Open Space Committee will be organizing a town cleanup on April 12th, 2025, with a rain date of April 19th, 2025. They are looking for volunteers to assist the cleanup efforts. In addition, anyone who has suggestions of particular areas to clean up can contact Jonathan Gales. The Dayton Council on Aging will now be a host location for a free tax aid program that AARP Foundation offers each year. This program focuses on assisting older adults with low to moderate income. Please call the Dayton Council on Aging to learn more and book your free appointment today.
Great. Before we continue to the public input, it was pointed out to me, April 12th is the election?
Yes.
So do we want to contact Jonathan Gale and ask him maybe to change the date of his cleanup? Yes, sir.
I serve on that board.
Yep.
We had a discussion at our last meeting about that. And we're proposing to change it to the 19th.
Okay, so the rain date. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, we now move into public input. This is the first of two. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Leonard Hall, 760 Main Street, Dayton. Last evening, Superintendent Bill Rooney announced a preliminary budget, school budget, with a 4.3% increase from last year. As you negotiate with the school committee over this budget, please keep in mind that the DR per pupil expenditure is still below state average for districts our size. Also, the preliminary state budget, as presented by Governor Healy, calls for only a 1% increase in Chapter 70 funding this year. Once again, the governor is heaping the responsibility for educational funding upon the cities and towns of the Commonwealth, rather than carrying her responsibility for the children of this state. As I did a year ago, I call upon the Dayton Board of Selectmen to reach out to their Senator, Kelly Dooner, and Representative Justin Thurber, and ask for them to lobby at the State House for an increase to Chapter 70 funding for Dayton schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Any more public input? Not at this time. Town Administrator's report.
I don't have much to report. I have a few things down the line, but
Yep.
just to advise the board, we've been meeting with department heads to discuss our budget. And just to follow up on what Mr. Hull said, that there is a preliminary budget I don't know, like display on February 25th. And on February 26th, I had reached out to the superintendent and the chairman of the Dayton Rehoboth School Committee to see if they could send the members of the budget subcommittee and the financial advisory committee here to the selectmen to have a preliminary discussion on the budget before they present it officially to the board in March.
Okay.
So, I'm glad that some numbers are starting to come in. I thank you for that information. I was unaware of that, but thank you.
Great, thank you. Nicole?
I just wanted to mention, I don't know if everyone saw it on Facebook, the police's video that they did. That was excellent. It's on YouTube, Peter, if you
Okay.
haven't seen it. They did a great job. If I had any suggestions, I'd say more Oki, but I mean, what they did was fine. But I just loved it. I thought it was really great and it really
Good.
highlighted our department.
Nice. Mark?
Nothing, but I agree, that video was amazing.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
really.
on YouTube? I'll have to pull it up tonight.
I believe the chief is gonna reach out to cable too to have it put on.
Have it put on
Oh,
cable.
good.
Yeah.
All right.
Unfortunately, I don't get 9. Well, I don't think you get it
Right,
either.
no, we're too close to Rehoboth.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, moving on to old business. Review, discuss, and act. Sewer Commission feedback on feasibility study.
If you recall back at the early January meeting, the town had received a rural grant to explore the expansion of sewer along Route 44. We brought to the board a potential consultant, and the board advised to go to the sewer commissioner to get their advice on the matter. So I had presented to on January 27th, which was the next available meeting, I presented the consultant and the study to the sewer commissioners, and they have a memo to you recommending not to proceed, and that's it in a nutshell. So I'm just looking for direction from the board if you do wish to proceed with the feasibility study, or I had, as was expressed at that January 6th meeting, maybe we should turn back the grant, and I sort of found out what we need to do that. It's not that big of a deal.
Right,
So,
okay. My opinion hasn't changed. I think we should return the funds and consider it a closed issue. Nicole?
I agree.
Mark?
I agree.
Okay. This is a review, discuss, and act, so we need a motion on the floor to end the sewer commission's study.
I'll make a motion to not move forward with the Dayton Route 44 feasibility study as recommended by the Board of Sewer Commissioners.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
We're moving on to new business then. This is, again, a review, discuss, and act. Facilities request, delay Castagnetti from Hodges Hill Project Forum. I hope I didn't butcher the name.
The homeowners association, just to follow up, is they just need some room to have the meeting. Nobody has space large enough to hold their to hold it in their little development. So they're just looking to use this space for the day indicated.
Okay. I have no issues with it. Nicole?
No.
Mark? Everything gets checked off?
Okay, is there, did they provide us with a certificate of insurance?
They're requesting a waiver for that, and it's something that the town has accepted previously because it's not, it's, the consideration is that it's not a big, it's not an event where we're too concerned.
Okay.
Peter, Tom has his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tom. Yes, sir.
Is this in this, it's Hunter's Hill, isn't it?
Is it Hunter's Hill?
Oh, it's funny. That's the first thing that came into mind, but I thought
Hunter's
maybe I
Hill,
just
yeah.
didn't know.
I was like, I don't know this place, but it must be here. It's Hunter's.
I don't think it's gonna change your decision,
No.
it's fine.
Okay. So this is just a forum. So there's no band or anything, and
No band, no drinking, no.
yeah. Mark, how do you feel about not having an insurance policy?
I would just want to run it by our insurance, I guess. I'm
Sure.
not sure. How do you feel about that?
I think, I feel okay.
Yeah.
About it. It's just that, we haven't done it and for typical events like that, so.
Do you think now's the time that we start not accepting fee waiver requests?
Yes, I'm not a fan of there's a cost to the town, as small as it is, there's still a cost that some of these, should be bearing that cost, some of these organizations. So if, we want to start the year off with that policy, that's fine with me.
I think just in the fiscal position we are, yeah, that's a good start to the year.
Okay.
Well, hopefully we can be consistent on it, so.
So you want to table this then? Contact the insurance company? Or is it, not that big of a deal?
I would make
Hold
the
on,
motion just to run
The
it
event
by.
date is 2/13.
I'm sorry, say it
The
again?
event date is Friday.
Oh, okay, so we're under
Oh,
the
it's tomorrow.
timetable.
It's tomorrow,
Oh,
actually.
that's tomorrow. Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
thank you. Friday's Valentine's Day. I'm glad thanks for straightening that out for me, Mark.
Right? Yeah, I'd make the motion to approve the request, however, not to waive the fee.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thanks for pointing that out, Tom. This again, a review, discuss, and act amendment to the roles and responsibilities of the town administrator, which I think everybody got that copy.
Yes.
Yeah, I presented a memo. This is as a result of our conversation from last week's meeting. As I went through it, it wasn't clear that I was appointed the chief administrative officer for the town. So what I'm doing in this memo is providing clarity to that, and additionally, also to provide some clarity in my role as the chief procurement officer. As it stands now, I have no contract signing authority, but I picked the $50,000 threshold because as you may or may not know, in 30B, that is like, for municipalities, that's kind of like the highest threshold you can go, where it's really, you don't have to do an RFP or a request for proposals. You just solicit. It's a minimum solicitation of three vendors. So it's I think it's a good place to start instead of waiting around for a small contract. We've done the work, and it's and the state sort of sees that as like a minimum threshold. So those are the two things, those two changes I proposed. So I'm available for any questions to that.
I have no issues with it. I don't know how, Nicole, do you
I
have
don't
any
have any
concerns?
issues, no.
Mark?
I just have some questions. So
Yeah.
You have the responsibility for contracts, $50,000. You can award contracts and you can execute them,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Just as far as like for the public and transparency, is there a way that we could have an update to the board or
Yeah,
to
sure.
the public on
Yeah.
contracts awarded?
Absolutely, and also in addition to, if you do approve those over $50,000, and you do approve, so I would have the signing authority, so you don't have to come in and sign it. You would give me the authority to sign those contracts. So I would give, if we do anything in that threshold, yeah, I could update. That's very reasonable.
Okay. Do you think that, I think just in the Board of Selectmen meeting under Town Administrator
Yeah,
report,
that's-
just having.
Yeah, that's fine.
That we know and the public knows. And my other question that kind of go hand in hand is, we have a bylaw for Town Administrator, I believe. But this would be more like a,
It's,
Policy?
yeah, no, we have like a policy listed, but there are some and that's where I had pulled it from. The roles and responsibilities. Probably the clearest place it's listed is on, there's like parts here and parts there. Where it's most clearly defined is on the website, and that's where I pulled this from. So, there's other obviously, there's budget responsibilities which is the big one, which takes up a lot of space. And then it starts addressing personnel issues. So, but the one that wasn't clearly defined was the chief administrative officer.
Right.
And then the other one, which I thought, initially was a little light, was the, as you see, was, okay, you're the chief procurement officer, but that's it. So I just wanted to sort of flesh those out a little bit.
So do you think, and trust me, there's other topics I care about other than contracts, but
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
think it would make sense to add this like as an amendment to your contract, just so like when you look at it, you have a job description, right? And like this is kind of defining your job description, like in addition to the
Yeah.
website, wouldn't this make sense to be at?
Oh,
as part of this?
That's, to amend my, yeah.
Or just to be
I
listed
would
with it.
say that this should not be unique to Ralph
To you,
Vitaco.
right.
Right? This should be the roles and responsibility of anyone who sits in the position of town administrator. So
Okay.
I would
Yes,
I
that makes sense.
refer to, I would go back to my contract. It may refer to.
Okay.
So when it refers to, it would see that the town, the person who holds the seat is the chief administrative officer. The person holding the seat can sign contracts, execute contracts for $50,000.
So this will go on the website.
Yes.
Alrighty, and, was what was put on the website voted on? Do you know that? Like, was that like something that the Board of Selectmen reviewed, or, like, should we have,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
I'm
good.
kinda
Yeah,
getting at,
yeah,
should we
yeah,
have like
yeah.
a,
No, no,
an amended date on it?
Yeah, that's a good point. I know it has, it's from correlating procedures, that are kind of interweaved through different documents, that we have. So when I put it on the website, if it's the pleasure of the board to vote in favor of this, I could, we could list on there as approved, an approval date.
Right, I think that would make sense,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, we can do that.
So then when we're looking in the future to find these things, we can at least trace it back to a
Yeah,
meeting?
I know, that's what caused so much confusion last week. Serena and I were looking around, we could not, it was not clearly defined that, that the town administrator was the chief administrative officer. And I think at the time, you may have just conferred that authority onto the previous town administrator, but it wasn't on the, right, in the role of the town administrator in general. So I think this, this sort of helps that process.
Okay. One last question, and I'll leave you alone. We have the policy and procedure manual. Does it define the town administrator in that? Because I know that was made by our first town administrator.
Yeah, we're looking at, as we move forward with the policies and procedures, we're looking to find it in one spot. And I agree with you, Mark. I mean, I was just like, just digging through stuff, as
It's defined in there, I was thinking.
yeah,
There's
it's
potential
kind of
for it.
funny where if you go on the website, it sort of discusses like my role in reference to town council, and that's not under town administrator, but it's under the town and council policies and procedures. So I think someone had gone through all the policies and and like sort of took out what was associated with the town administrator, and then sort of put it on the front page of the website. So that's what, that's one of the things that we're looking to do. It just makes life easier to find.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Very good.
It's sort of all over the place. It's not just policies and procedures, roles and responsibilities of the town administrator in our policies and procedures. It's just sort of like on the web, under the town administrator tab. So,
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark, that made a lot of sense.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum to amend the roles and responsibilities of town administrator as presented, and to add an approval date in with the memorandum.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
This next one I have, it's a request to appoint Barbara Catavia to the 250th Anniversary Committee, and Pat Gales is not here this evening. I understand they're running with 10, and they should be running with 11. My only concern is that Barbara be there as a volunteer for the committee and not in any representation of the Board of Health.
Well, we always say the person has to be here, so I would make a
I think
motion
this
to
should be
table.
tabled, yeah.
You want to
You
table
beat
it?
me to it,
We're
Mark.
on the same page, yes.
All right, let's table it then. Is there a motion on the floor?
Motion to table,
Okay.
request to appoint Barbara Catavia.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, D, review, discuss, and act, request to appoint Stephen Forever as a special police officer. And I guess this was just an oversight from
Yeah.
2 weeks ago or last, yeah, 2
Yeah,
weeks ago.
Yes.
Okay, Nicole, do you have any?
We were so moved by the reading of his letter by Nicole.
Sure.
From the Riv,
Yeah, yeah.
I'll make a motion to appoint Stephen Ferreira as a special police officer.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Review, discuss, and act, request to appoint Marguerite Mitchell as legal counsel for the Zoning Board of Appeals. I have no issues. Nicole?
No, I don't have any issues.
So Attorney Costa did send the Board of Selectmen a memo advising not to move forward with this.
Not to move forward with
Not
this?
to move forward with this,
Wait,
no.
where, is it in here?
Yes,
Okay.
yep, he has one. So
Costa provided memo.
Okay.
basically, Attorney Costa is saying it's an unusual request.
Okay,
I believe Attorney Mitchell has worked with the planning board for a period of time, and they probably like her services, but it's unusual to have a special counsel for this board. And Attorney Costa's, per his letters, view is we may get inconsistent legal advice from different law firms and different attorneys, and this is not his words. My thinking is it actually makes sense having our own town council work as like a clearinghouse, right? Because being such a small community, I think it would be almost inefficient, and it's not too practical to have different attorneys for all these different boards. I understand they like Attorney Mitchell, however, Gay has plenty of very well qualified attorneys, and personally, I found Matt Costa's appeal to us moving, and I would like to see us move in the direction of following our own town council's advice.
I thought, unless I'm mistaken, that I was told that Attorney Gay was okay with this.
Through the chair, just one thing that Attorney Mitchell will be the counsel for the ZBA.
Right.
The planning board uses, I forget, I know they
Their
use
own
Jay
attorney as
Callerman,
well.
so they have,
Yes, my
they have
apologies.
separate.
Yep.
No, just for clarification, they have a separate counsel as well. I know, I think that I just received a letter from Gay and Gay yesterday, and I did read it. I understand the points that the Gay and Gay law firm is making in relation to it, and I myself find it slightly unusual that we have separate, so many different separate attorneys. But I think the ZBA makes a strong case for retaining Attorney Mitchell because of all the comprehensive permits that she's been involved in and ongoing, and it is quite a lot of work. And I think the issue that was brought up, that is if we do not retain the services of Attorney Mitchell, that Gay and Gay would have to get up to speed, and we have about I think we have 4 comprehensive permits associated with this, and it would be a bit of an undertaking to get them up to speed for that. So that, I think not only do they, the ZBA likes, has a good working relationship with Attorney Mitchell, which is important. But they did do recognize the fact that, to unwind from her services may be a substantial cost to the town. I know Gay and Gay provides very good services. They're very, and they're very competent with Board of Appeals. I gotta say, so I think the ZBA understood it. I had some discussions with them, and and it's their hope to retain Attorney Mitchell. Her rate, the contract she provided is in the same exact price range as Gay and Gay, so it's not it wouldn't be effectively wouldn't be an additional cost to the town.
So one part of Attorney Costa's letter says there may be particular matters that could arise where Attorney Mitchell has special expertise or experience that may make it beneficial to rely on her as special counsel in the particular matter. However, that is not the nature of this request. So that kind of conflicts, I think, what I just heard about Attorney Mitchell having expertise on certain matters, because according to Costa, that's not why they're requesting to have her. Do you know the nature of why they're requesting to have her? Just because we have 4 potential items.
The request, this is the conversation I had with the members of the ZBA. So, they're requesting to continue to retain her because of the longstanding relationship they have, with her, the services that she has provided over the years, and the issues that she remains involved with. To your point, Mark, usually when you have a special counsel, it's just, and this is the point that Attorney Costa is bringing. Typically, special counsel is you bring it in because it's just Gay and Gay can't do that, right? And similarly, that's I think they can perform. I'm not sorry. I think they can. I know they can perform the services of the Board of Appeals, but they could also perform the services probably of the Planning Board as well. So
Can we make it so that going forward on any 40Bs, it be represented by Gay and Gay, so that we do not have to bear the cost of bringing Gay to Gay up to speed with the current 40Bs that we have?
There are other aspects associated with the Board of Appeals. The attorneys would do write the decisions, and they provide advice to the board. So what would happen is that they would just keep. What your suggestion is, they would just keep Attorney Mitchell for the 40Bs, and then Gay and Gay should do everything else. I know, I had that conversation with Attorney Mitchell. That was something that I brought up to her, and also to the ZBA. I don't know if that would work for her,
Okay.
Because
Being on the Zoning Board of Appeals for 20-some-odd years, there's a lot involved. Changing counsel is not as easy as just hiring another attorney and filling in. We do have the exception with the planning board, and if we're going to go forward, then everything should be handled by Gay and Gay, including the planning board's attorney. Or because of the intricacies of, am I saying that right?
Intricacies?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. I would say let's make the exception for the two councils, the two boards, because of the amount of time and effort and the expense that it would be to have Gay and Gay do those. Like I said, serving on the board for 20 years, it's not that easy.
No.
The one time that Gay and Gay couldn't make, when we had, the town was the attorney for the town was Gay and Gay, and we couldn't, Marguerite Mitchell was not, and she worked for Gay and Gay, was not available for a particular case, and it was completely different.
Yes.
It was an issue, just because the conformity was not there. So my opinion is to keep Gay and Gay, to keep Marguerite Mitchell in this particular incident, along with the planning board.
Would you feel comfortable with your experience on the ZBA and many years there? But just before making any motions tonight, just having a conversation with Attorney Costa?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I was going to suggest that we table it, because I'd like the ZBA to be here, and
as
possibly a representative from the planning board to discuss why we should not,
Okay.
I don't know how you feel, Nicole.
No, I think that's appropriate.
But why we should not make the exception at this time, or why we should. So I'm all for that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So is there a motion on the floor to table this?
Motion to table the discussion of special counsel for the ZBA.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
This next one is a review, discuss, and act. Agreement with the town of Somerset for using the firing range on Tremont Street. It seems clear-cut, but I have a concern. I've been a selectman for 2.5 years, and the biggest complaint that I used to have was, or responding to, was people speeding. And now the complaint has shifted from that to the noise that the firing range makes. Two things. I would prefer to table this for two reasons. One, I would like to get a list of the communities that use the firing range and when they use it, and also to allow the residents to have some input. Because
Through the chair, I know, you can table it. I had a quick discussion with Chief Nichols.
Yep.
The three communities use it, well, 3 communities use it. It was originally, obviously, Dayton,
Yep,
Berkeley, Taunton.
right.
Berkeley dropped out, so the chief went to, Somerset, made a proposal to the chief. Somerset's usage of the range would be 2 days in the spring and 2 days in the fall. Most of the use gets done by our own, right?
Right.
Taunton and our own, and we have an obligation through the state, the Police Training Academy. So, and I understand, the concerns of the residents, but, I just want to provide that information
Sure.
to you tonight. That it would be, Berkeley didn't use it, so it would be 4 days a year.
Why are we making proposals to other communities?
I don't think that's what happened.
Okay,
Because I had a conversation with the chief. I believe that the facility that Somerset had was, I believe, in Dartmouth, and they lost access to that range. And
Yep.
my understanding is they reached
They
out to
approached us.
Dayton.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
believe the
yeah.
police proposed to them.
okay.
That's correct. Thank you for that
Yeah.
correction.
I still prefer a table to give the residents an opportunity to voice their opinions. Maybe we don't need, you have responded with the request of when and where it gets, not where, when it gets used and how often. I'm not saying there's a lot of complaints. I don't want to exaggerate this in the least. It's just, I don't live in that neighborhood. And if I heard this popping all day,
No, understood.
I think I'd
Yeah,
be
yeah.
concerned. Nicole, do you have any comments at this time?
I had concerns. Now I've envisioned more communities were using it than what you just said, because I do see a lot on Facebook about it. I don't know if what folks are always hearing is always coming from the range, because we are in Dayton and
Right.
there's guns firing. But I've heard complaints, and I feel bad for residents that are near there, and if it is concerning them. So I feel, I don't know, now I'm in a different place because of what you said, but
Right.
I'm fine with tabling if you want to, definitely getting the information out there better to residents about when it's being used, and who uses it, because it is important, and we do get revenue from it, and it goes
Right.
into that revolving fund and stuff, so, that's all I have to say
It's
about
a
it.
difference between hunting season when you hear pops every once in a while, but it almost sounds like this, what's the table tennis, not table, the,
Oh,
Pickleball,
Ping pong?
not
oh,
ping pong,
pickleball.
the pickleball.
yeah.
These communities are up in arms over pickleball courts because it's that constant pinging back and forth. Not to share the two, I don't want to insult anybody.
Yeah, don't make the
No.
pickleball people mad.
right?
They're
They're
scary.
feisty, don't
Yeah.
make them mad.
Yeah,
Mark, your thoughts?
I think it definitely can't hurt for transparency and to make an informed decision, to have a schedule, to see when that, like, all right, so Somerset's 4 days, but I'd like to know about the other communities too, so
Yeah.
we can see how much. And you have a great point. I also don't live in that neighborhood, so to see it on paper, to see what residents are up against.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
can't hurt for a schedule.
all right, is there a motion on the
If
floor?
I may, just,
Go ahead.
just for clarification through the, it's, it was not my intent to just say it's just 4 days. I don't know how much Taunton uses it, how much we use it, and I would think the bulk of the range use is through academy training, so I just say that Somerset would only use it, as the chief described to me, only 4 days out of the year, so.
Just the sheer size of the city of Taunton concerns me, and how often or how much it gets used on a particular day. I mean, is it a 6 hour, is it a 30-minute process? Again,
Usually
it's-
are all day, it's an all day.
It's an all-day affair.
Yeah, it's an all-day affair.
It's detrimental to the neighborhood, but it's there. No different than a 40B coming in your backyard. It's the residents that are local that are affected by it more than the residents on the other side of town.
Right.
Okay, I still think we should table it.
Motion to table the agreement with the town of Somerset for use of the firing range to seek more information on dates of use.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
This next one is, again, a review, discuss, and act. This is for surplus equipment that has to be disposed of. We do not have to read it because it's printed in the agenda. We still have to read the motion, I'm sorry, but we don't have to list each item.
Motion to accept the town clerk surplus equipment for disposal as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Acknowledgements. There's a letter from the Chief McGee to appoint a new call firefighter, Kayla Machado. I'm assuming you guys had that letter too.
Yes.
Any concerns or questions?
Just welcome.
Welcome.
Anything, Mr. Ralph?
No,
Okay.
no, sir.
All right, is there a motion on the floor?
Is it just to accept it, basically, accept the letter? Because the chief appoints, right? So just to accept the letter is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Acknowledge the appointment.
Just a motion to acknowledge the appointment of Kayla Machado for a new call firefighter.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This last one is from, again, a review, discuss, and act, letter from Laura Medeiros, Council on Aging Officer Manager, regarding a donation of $1,000 made in memory of Adele Colley. I think it's great that somebody offered $1,000. Obviously, we would like to take it, and certainly Adele did a tremendous job for this community, and I have no issues with accepting it, obviously. Nicole?
Oh, sounds good.
Mark?
No, just that they had a very nice letter, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Is there a motion on the floor then, please?
Motion to accept the donation of $1,000 made in memory of Adele Collard.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approval of the warrants.
All right, get ready.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the warrants paid by January 30th, 2025, 31A-25 for $142,785.27, 31B-25 for $75,988.29, 31C-25 for $4,756.08, warrants paid by February 6, 25, 32A-25 for $120,055.18, 32B-25 for $310,493.97, 32C-25 for $3,228,369.75, warrants paid by February 13, 25, 33A-25 for $126,966.86, 33B-25 for $326,545.37, and 33C-25 for $289,712.50.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Again, public input. Yes, sir.
I'll be quick, I promise.
No, it's okay. Take your time.
The first one, I'm still getting calls, even though I'm not on the board, in regards to the shooting range.
Yep.
So please, wonderful idea of reviewing it, getting public input.
Thank you.
Secondly, in the discussion earlier this evening, you talked about the planning board and the ZBA, but there is also one other group that has individual counsel, and that's Conservation Commission.
Don't they use gay and gay?
I'm sorry?
Don't they use gay and gay?
I believe in the case of current litigation with the 40B, they are using an outside,
Okay.
might even be,
They are using
It
gay
is
and
gay
gay.
and
I thought it was gay and gay.
Yeah.
okay. Might be good to shore up that policy.
Yes.
Also, the difference between ZBA, conservation, and planning is planning, those members are elected officials, not appointed by the Board of Selectmen. So there is a slight difference. The third thing, and I say this with the clock running toward the April election and the possibility, I'm not advocating one way or the other, of another debt exclusion. As you go forward with your budget discussions, I would ask that you take a long and hard look about the drawbacks of using free cash to balance the town budget if you choose to go down that road. It only postpones cuts for another year, and you run the risk that residents, and you know the turnout at town meetings, that they will vote down this request at town meeting, and then you're gonna be scrambling how you're gonna make up that money. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Before there's no more public input, correct? Before we adjourn, I'm not going to be here on March 13th, the Thursday of budget meetings. And before this schedule gets too ingrained, I don't mind not being here. I can do it Zoom. But the police department and the fire department are both on that, which are fairly large. If we can change that to the prior week or the Thursday, the Tuesday, so that I can be here for those discussions. Are you guys opposed to that?
Can we discuss it through Karen, because I don't have my schedule in front of me?
Yeah,
I'm not opposed to it
no,
at all.
absolutely. I do have the schedule here, but yes, we
No,
can
I
discuss
don't
it.
have my schedule, so.
Oh, your
yeah.
personal schedule?
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't gotten the dates of the budget meetings yet?
No, like, so I can make sure I can be available if we move it?
Oh,
But, yeah.
oh, I'm not talking about moving the day.
Oh, I'm
Just
sorry.
those two items to
Oh.
a day that because they're
Oh,
fairly
my
large.
apologies, yes.
So we'll keep the budget date the same, just the two departments to another day.
Okay.
You're okay with the dates that, okay, we'll
Perfect,
just
yes,
switch.
thank you.
We'll just switch from like stormwater, switch flip-flop it.
Right.
Got it.
Not that stormwater is not important.
I know, I was like, oh, God. Don't say any names. We'll move who we move.
That's right.
I apologize, but in the town of Sandwich, no, I meant,
Is there a motion to adjourn, please?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.